radio in him, sir. This is direct television from the studios at the Alexander Palace.
The battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization.
Yesterday,
Upon it depends our own British
December
life.
7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Men will still say, this was their finest hour.
Armed with knives, armed with chemical, biological, nuclear weapons. Fanatics, terrorists, September 11th. September 11th, killers, September 11th. Terrorists of Al-Qaeda, terrorists, nuclear weapons, terrorists. 9/11, terror, evil. September 11th, September 11th.
The terrorists, war and danger. September 11th, terrorism, global terrorism, terrorism, terrorists, the terror, terrorism. September 11th, global terrorism, terrorism. September 11th, world terrorism. September 11th, global terrorism. September the 11th, terror. Weapons of mass destruction. September the 11th, terrorists. The evil terrorists, no.
Remember that every single man, woman, and child in the state of South Carolina awakens to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. I would remind people that every single morning we all awaken to a safer, freer world because of George Bush. And Nicole, I would remind you and the people of Florence that all of us awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. They themselves awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack. America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for evil and the very worst of human nature. I've directed the full resources of our intelligence and law enforcement communities to find those who want peace and security in the world and to bring them to justice. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and the victims of the American economy. Our military is evil and it's prepared. Our country is evil, deliberate and deadly evil. All that is evil, comforted by evil, and no one will keep that evil from shining. And on behalf of the American power greater than any of us, I thank the many world leaders who have called to offer their financial institutions and assistance. America and our terrorist friends and allies join with all those who want despicable chaos and terrible evil. And we stand together to win the war against all that is good and just. None of us will ever find those responsible. Thank you. Good night. And God.
Alive! It's alive!
Now they will know why they are afraid of the dark. Now they will learn why they fear the night. There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
I want counterculture. I want anti-establishment.
This is mass madness, you maniacs!
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
I believe America is ready for a new beginning. The new Prime Minister of India is, no.
Killed many people. For money. Out of evil, out of hatred.
I see people around me who the lights are on, but there's nobody home.
That's right.
And that's the norm, not the exception. What is going on out there?
Well, first of all, let's not even talk about the content of what is on television. Let's just talk about watching a lighted box. All right? A lighted box is like watching a hypnotist who has a light. It's a flickering light, and it will actually put the brain into waves that are the hypnotic waves. If you take a person who has never watched television at all, and you put them in front of a television set, it will take 45 minutes before their brain will enter into hypnotic waves. If you put that same person in front of a television set the next night, it will only take 5 minutes before they become hypnotized by the flickering light. And the following day, the third day, they will go into these hypnotic waves in 5 seconds. TV is the greatest thing that has destroyed every nation in the world, because every show will propagandize you.
They're feminizing men so that men don't stand up and act like men.
And now we have the Department of Truth, aka PC, political correctness, going round and telling us what is the truth and, why our truth isn't the same as their truth. It's very scary that we've reached a stage in society where, under the guise of freedom of speech, we clamp another form of speech.
Television is being totally Judaized. The networks, all the television networks are owned by Jews. The movie studios are owned by Jews. The newspapers are owned by Jews. The magazines are owned by Jews. So all of this is the degeneracy of the Jewish culture coming in to what was previously a Christian culture which had some morality.
The real collision is going to occur is between the subterranean underground media and the mainstream media. Yeah. This is a collision of worlds because one is a facade. It's the Wizard of Oz. Yeah. The mainstream media has become the Wizard of Oz, and sadly it knows it's the Wizard of Oz. Well, of course, this is the mainstream media that everybody is turning away from now. People are looking at this stuff and saying, I don't want to hear about this anymore. I'm tired of this. This is rubbish. I think people, you can fool all of the people some of the time. Once people realize they're being lied to, they start to recognize the fact that they are being treated like idiots and monkeys.